Hi team, really good to see you. So today we're going to be talking about the market model. The market model created by our classical thinkers. So we've got Adam Smith, we've got Alfred Marshall, we've got the guy Hicks, right? All of these guys coming together to create this fantastic model, maybe a perfect model that we use to describe a lot of economic activity. So we're going to be talking about it from the context of consumers, right? Us. And from the context of producers, the people making the goods and services. So we're talking about both of them. So we're going to have a demand curve. Our demand curve is downward sloping. It is a negative relationship or inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So we learnt that. We learnt that it follows the law of demand, okay, where the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases, holding all other factors constant, right? Whereas when the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, again holding all other factors constant. So that's the demand curve. The demand curve is matched by a supply side or supply curve from the producers. It's like they're shaking hands, the producers and the consumers, okay? Or what did Alfred Marshall talk about? The two blades on a pair of scissors, okay? So the producer is going to supply increasing quantities according to the law of supply as the price rises because they're able to earn greater revenues from doing that. So yay, more revenue, possibly more profit. So that's always a good thing for a business and for their point of view. Whereas if the price was to decrease, they'd supply less quantities, okay? Because they're going to earn potentially less revenue. So where the supply equals the demand, is where you are going to potentially have an equilibrium. An equilibrium is going to be where there is no tendency to change. So producers are going to say, yeah, we're happy with this. Consumers, yeah, we're happy with this. We're going to sit there until something outside the market comes into place. They're going to sit at that equilibrium, be perfectly happy until something causes them to change. All right. So it might be, for example, if all of a sudden it costs more to produce the product, then producers now are no longer happy to supply that quantity of goods. So instead, they might decrease the supply of that good. All right, like say, for example, the price of the cost for producing chocolate, for example, might have risen. So therefore, the supply of chocolate might decrease, which is a bit sad. All right, fewer M&Ms, a bit sad. All right, the entire supply curve shifts. It shifts to the left. Now remember, with our axis, okay, we've got price on the vertical axis, quantity on the horizontal axis. When the supply curve moves to the left, it means there is less because it's heading towards the origin. So left is less, and if it moves to the right, it's more. So in economics, left is less and we write more. Okay, that's kind of how we do it, okay? So if the supply curve shifts left, it tracks up the demand curve. And as it tracks up the demand curve, what ends up happening, as we're saying, if the supply curve was to decrease, the price would end up increasing, all right? Because as the supply decreases, it tracks up the demand curve, decreasing the quantities demanded, law of demand, and the price level then rises, okay? As the price level rises, the quantity demanded decreases naturally, all right? So that's what we see. The market has moved. All right, nobody told it to do that. The producers just decided, whoop, like an invisible hand, shifting things around, and supply has decreased, all right, causing the price to rise. The next option might be, let's imagine there's a whole lot of new people who arrive, the population increases, and it's the demand for the market for houses, all right? More people, more demand for houses, increase in the demand for houses. As the demand for houses increases, it moves to the right, okay, right more. As it does that, it tracks up the supply curve, which pushes the price up. So therefore, houses, according to the market model, then start to become more expensive, which is a bit sad because we want people to be living inside a house as opposed to not, all right? So that's the market moving. It moves, if the demand curve moves to the right, okay, then you are going to see an increase in prices. If the demand curve was to move to the left, you'd actually see a decrease in prices. Similarly, if the supply curve was to move to the left, the prices would go up. And if the supply curve was to move to the right, the prices would go down. So it moves in opposite directions. It doesn't move in one direction, which we know is the boy band, right? So it doesn't do that. But that's how the market model works in our economy, and it has to work that way. If it doesn't work that way, the people wanting to buy fruit and vegetables can't afford to buy fruit and vegetables. And in which case the government might need to intervene. There might need to be subsidies, right? Reducing the costs of production so that they can supply more. Or subsidies given directly to consumers, like during the lockdown, where there were subsidies given directly to consumers here in Malaysia in order to encourage them to buy more goods and services online, right? Those subsidies will help either the supply or the demand side of the market, maybe causing the price to perhaps go down, maybe, depending on if it's supply or if it's demand. It might be that maybe the market isn't working, the price is too high, and so the government then needs to subsidize the consumers so that they can afford the product, right? Subsidize the production so that more of it increases, right? All of those sorts of ideas. It might be that there's too much of this product in the market. We don't like it. We don't want it. Let's put a tax on it. That increases the cost, decreases supply, increases the price. All of those sorts of things are what we're going to be analyzing. You'll need to draw them. You'll need to figure out what is happening and explain what is happening to both the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Okay, thank you very much. Please remember to like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. Otherwise, hey, kōrera, have a fantastic day. See you.